Hey everyone, good to see you here. Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm back at my normal schedule today. And welcome to leg 11 of today's trip. We're here at Chita Airport outside of downtown Chita in Russia. And today will be a very important day of the flight as we finally cross into the border from Russia into China here today in the Yonkers Ju-52. So it's good to have everyone here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Nightzeps here in Martel172. Good to see you both here. So let's go over for today's trip, shall we? So today we are going to actually take off from Chita. We're going to go through a couple of waypoints, through some of the hills and mountains, and then we'll head down all the way to the border to China at Ziaojiao Airport in Manzhouli, China. So this should be a very short trip. In fact, this is actually the second shortest leg of the whole trip at 220 nautical miles. So this should be a very quick trip. We should get here pretty fast. So let's get back to the Yonkers. This has been the workhorse plane for this entire trip since, the very beginning. So D903 is here again. Now, let me talk about some of the notes for today. So our stay here was overshadowed by the rather basic state of the hotel they stayed. There wasn't any running water, only a water tank with a tap in each room, which tends to be very temperamental and occasionally sprays of water over everyone. The greater problem were the lights, which, the lights and the bed bugs and all that. They called the toilet prohibitive, meaning not very good. For evening entertainment, they were treated to a lengthy dinner with plenty of vodka and a performance of the local variety of wrestling. The next day, they visit the local hospital. Rutger is a German who studied under Nazi's father-in-law, and they see the locals bathing in the water naked as customary everywhere in Russia, men and women using different places along the river. Robert Noss reports lots of military activities with calls soldiers marching through the town, which is home to a border garrison. There are maneuvers being held in this vicinity, and this is an area where tensions between the Russians, Chinese, and even the Japanese want to extend their influence in the region. Manchuria is an important supplier of agricultural products for Japan. They invest heavily in the railway infrastructure to get the produce to the harbors. So this is before the flight. So this is our pre-flight notes. Now let's get back to starting the Junkers again. Let's go ahead and get this bird started. Get back to the checklist. Like I said, it's nothing's wrong going over the checklist again, especially for some people who want to start the plane for the first time. Now, since this is a short one, I think 75% fuel should be 75% should be more than enough for today. We don't need that much fuel. 220 nautical miles is very much at all. Clear prop. Engine number 1, clear prop. All right, close. Now we start engine number 2. We get everything completed. Do that, complete both of these, and then we can get to the lights and we can get taken off in the air now. Pretty easy stuff. Here we go, guys. Now we can actually get back in the air. Now with this back in the air, we should be able to take off. I'm going to take off at runway 11. There you are, Martel. Good to have you here. Now, for our safe altitude, we should be about 4,500 feet. This is the safe altitude for much of the trip, because we're going to go 4,500 feet. So this should be a pretty good altitude. I'm hoping soon I get epidemic sounds, so you might see a much wider range of soundtrack. Okay. I have a flickering mouse in sim. Have you ever come that before? Not really. Night Zap. So we're going to go ahead and pull stage of flaps. I'm going to put the trim down to 0.4. We're going to put 2 green. To get to about 67 knots, and then we can actually take off. Like I said, the J52 doesn't take much. Just gets off real easy. So coming to fly with me today, it is Count Zepp. My good friend Night Zepp is here, and Martel738 is coming here today in the air. Good to have you guys all here, and I really appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and put the flaps down. Regain some speed. So I hope you guys have had a good, everyone in chat, I hope you guys in chat had a great weekend so far. I know my weekend's done pretty good so far. And I have actually some good news today. Later today, I'm going to get my affiliate onboarding thing finally signed up for it, so I finally get to actually get subs and all that. So I'm going to do that later today and get that completed. Which I think would be a great sign for my channel as well, to finally get that completed. It would mean a lot for my channel to actually get subs, and I'm hoping maybe there'd be someone to help me with some emotes. Maybe if there's someone who can help, if there's someone who can know someone that finds emotes, I think I got a couple of emote ideas for me. Maybe one, make a snake emote, the Viper emote, maybe a J52 emote, something like that. Just hey, Splasher6, good morning, Splasher. Good to see you. I want to give him a shout out. So congratulations on finishing your father's cadet flight training series. Congratulations, Splasher6, you got it done. From California all the way to Suffolk. Congratulations, Splasher6, for finally getting that done. So Splasher6 is an amazing content creator and a really close friend at the channel. He's probably been there since the very beginning of my stream. Splasher6 is incredible. So please give him a follow. No problem. No problem, Splasher. I got good news. So later today, I'm going to finally get the affiliate onboarding thing completed. So I'm finally going to get the subscriptions and all that, which I think is going to be really cool for the channel. Get the subs. That way I can, people can finally give me subs. Yeah. Now, the only question though, Splasher, is I'm going to have to help someone find me and make emotes. Because I know I have a lot of emote ideas for me, for the channel. Like Murph has so many of his unique emotes. Maybe have someone that knows emotes can help me make some. Like a Viper Snake emote. So, there's been a couple of flights of news. One of the bigger ones I saw, PMDG finally released their trailer for their, for the 737. That looks absolutely amazing. I saw that trailer and it looks so good. That 737 is going to be amazing. I had a bunch of trouble making mine. Yeah. That's Splasher6. Yep. Guess what? That's not the only new airliner news that came a couple of days ago. Then TFDI was just got the MD-11 that's coming out pretty soon. And then on top of that, Bluebird Simulations is bringing their 757. Which is pretty cool. So basically we got the Fokker F-28, the E-146, the 757 Bluebird, the MD-11, the PMDG 737. That's crazy. We've got so many airliners coming into the set. That's pretty crazy. Oh, where did you get the overlay? Let me show you where I got the overlay from. It's actually a thing called Civil Airport Overlay. Here it is. I got the link. Let me post it in the chat. Oh yeah. Hey, Jesus. Good to see you, Jesus J15. Good to see you, Jesus. Holy cow. It is. Hey, Jesus. I hope things have been going well for you today. Jesus is a good friend of Flying Fabio's channel. It's good to have you here. I hope things are going well for you. So here it is, question 6. It is the overlay pick. And the wiki would tell you everything how to set this up, and it's actually pretty simple. And it connects to your flight sim. But yeah, we have Martel. They have and think the same to you. No worries. Yeah, it's beautiful down here. Awesome, thanks you. No problem. Happy. Yeah, this is a game changer because it connects to your little nav map too. So it gets your data from nav map in the Microsoft Flight Sim, and it brings you the airports. It really makes it easier, and now you know what airport you're going to take off from. So UCHI, for example, if I pull my nav now, is the closest airport, and it's right here in Chita. It's an air base. So that's the closest airport. But if I move farther along, let's say right here, then UOLO would be the closest airport. And all that. Basically, it makes spawning in a lot easier, and you can get caught up quicker. So that's the point of having that thing in the top right corner. Wow, leg 11 already. Yeah, it's crazy. I started this all the way back in December. All the way back in December 6th, I believe. In early December, and now it's leg 11. If we only got, after this, it would be 3 more legs. It is pretty crazy. Nice. Can you put it anywhere on the screen? Yep, I can put this anywhere on the screen. I put it in the top right corner since nothing's usually filled over there. But if I feel like I wanted to, I could put it right here. I could put it right here, for example, in the bottom left corner. I could put it above my name tag if I wanted to. But for me, I'm going to put it right here. In the top right corner. Yeah, you can put this anywhere on the screen. Basically, Splasher. Pretty easy to work with, that's for sure. Today's weather is going to be clear skies. As the weather says in the notes, it's sunny, so got something pretty sunny. I could go with blazing sun, but I don't think it's that hot. So clear skies would be the temperature we'd go for. So when we left Chita, we're following the river, the Ngoda River, the valley of the river Ngoda. So we're going to be following that for the first couple of waypoints, follow the Ngoda River. And this river here, the Ngoda, is around 440 miles long, and it flows at the feet of the Kentai mountain range in Siberia. Now, this river actually, in the winter, freezes there in November, and it stays frozen until all the way late April. And what lies in the city is Chita. We follow around this area. And a major portion of this the Trans-Siberian Railway lies in this valley. The name itself derives from the Vinki word, which is one of the languages in the area, meaning river with pebbly and sandy banks, is what they call it. Oh, Dublin's. I recommend using Dublin Summer. Oh, I haven't downloaded that yet. I haven't downloaded that yet, NightZap. I probably should download Merge Weather Settings. I know a lot of great phrases there about the weather. Yeah, it's beautiful out here today. Wait till you see the screenshots. Yeah. So, guys, I actually flew yesterday with Two-Tone Murphy. We did a members-only flight yesterday with a few other members, and we actually visited a place in Jordan called the Wadi Rum. I may actually do that at some point on stream, fly throughout Wadi Rum and all that. That place is wild, fascinating. I had some screenshots, I think, in the Two-Tone Murphy Discord. Actually, speaking of Discord, I do actually have a Discord if you guys are interested in joining. Keep up with the latest news. I'm going to try and make myself better at creating new topics and all that. And if you want to catch up on my VODs, I do also have it on the other platform as well. So keep an eye on that. So there's Count Zap ahead of me, and looking behind me, Martel 738 is with me still in the Piper Arrow. Still probably need to get the Arrow at some point. I'll practically hope you join in the J52. Awesome, Martel. That's awesome. Actually, if you need anything, Martel, you let me know. I spent about at least 100 hours in this plane, so I probably would be more than competent enough to help you out with that. And again, there's also a really nice manual they wrote. So if you have any mechanical questions with it, don't be afraid to look in that manual too. That can also be a huge help. Yeah, this area is nice with all the little hills and the river. This is very nice. Nice area we're flying over here today. But yeah, this is going to be a really short flight today compared to all the previous ones. This should be nice and short. Oh, you got a picture in Discord now. Oh, that is nice. Yeah, that you're making me want to download the whatever. Hey, CIA Cowboy, good to see you. Actually, I did get your link about your upcoming project. March 29th, I believe, at 7:30 p.m. You're doing a collaboration stream with many other people like Charlie Foxtrot, and Allison Johnson's going to be involved. And we're going to fly over the Vietnam War sites. So, by the way, don't be afraid to check them out. I'm going to be participating in the event. I'm going to probably take something appropriate for Vietnam. I think I need to probably dust out the bird dog. Either dust that or dust out the Plas PC-6, because they did use those for Vietnam. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well for more collaboration events. I'm really looking forward to, yes, bring the bird dog. Yeah, the bird, I bet there's more than a few Vietnam era liveries for it, so. It's great to have you here. Once we get flying through the waypoints, I can begin on my topic for today. If this goes well, I put events for 4th of July, Veterans Day, Pearl Harbor Night, December 7th. Yes. I hope it goes well. Because I think it'd be great. I think Flight Sim's a great way to bring people together. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it as well. Let's go over. Oh, I took a team screenshot. Okay. Yeah, this plane here, CA Cowboy, Younker's JU-52. This thing is a classic. And I'm so happy, like I said, a Solo brought this into the sim. I'm so happy. Because, like I said, this plane was made for the sim. Old 1930s vintage airliner, lots of charm, history. So we're going to turn left here, and we're going to follow this through 92 degrees. And then we just go straight ahead at 148 degrees for 163 nautical miles. Go across the border. And there's always the railway, too. And yeah, and of course, there's always the railway as well. So down below here, CI Cowboy, we're following the Trans-Siberian Railroad. And the railroad goes all throughout this area. We're following that as well. Yeah, that railway. Trust me, when they built that, I mean, that Trans-Siberian Railway, by the way, but it's still a major part of aviation engineering. Because when they built this back in the 1890s, I mean, you gotta understand about Russia. It's more than twice as large as Brazil in terms of land area. Plus, you have to deal with the Russian winters, which is brutal. Yeah, I do a lot of research on this. Like, I may not know about aviation knowledge like Fabio or Porter, but for the scenery and locations, this is fair game for me. Fair game for me. At waypoint 4, there's supposed to be a junction. Yep, they did mention that near Urdanga, there is a railway junction that splits between Vladivostok and a southern branch known as the East Chinese Railway. They follow the Aga Valley. So, you see, there's actually two different routes you can take through the Trans-Siberian Railway. You can do a Siberian Railway route through from Moscow to Vladivostok, which is the further east Pacific outpost, the largest Pacific port in Russia. Or you could take the East Chinese Railway, which basically you can take, let me go open the street map. See, you could follow the railway. Let me go ahead and do this. So there's a junction right here. If you were to follow the railway, you would go all the way up here, and go down over here, you circle around all this, and you end up here in Vladivostok, right here. This is Vladivostok right here. That is the main Trans-Siberian Railway. Now, the path we're going to be taking here today is we're going to head to this junction, and we turn this way. And the railroad goes all the way through down here, eventually reaching here at our stop here in Chita. And that railway goes all the way to Beijing. The rest of the railway goes to Beijing. That's what we're following here today. So that is the main plan of the trip. That's why we go to that junction. For that reason. I'm waiting for someone to bring the good DC-3. Well, there is someone that makes a DC-3 CI Cowboy. Airplane Heaven's making one. But like I said, I'm hesitant on Airplane Heaven because they still got a few planes that had issues, mainly the Electra. In fact, Airplane Heaven are the ones who made the Electra for Allison's trips. So they're making one. Oh yeah, and the A2A. I've been wanting to try out their Piper Cub. I want to see someone bring an original Piper Cub to them. The original A2A Piper Cub is a classic. Like people don't remember like the little tiny Piper Cub, but the Piper Cub is the most classic bush plane you can think of. Yes, a Cub is a green plane for me. Yep, I would love the Cub. I stopped to mark the spot. Yeah, at 97's down below. And that's the junction. But yeah, the Piper Cub is definitely a dream plane for me as well. Like, the Piper Cub is just such an iconic plane. I mean, it's simple. It's one of the simplest planes you can own. But it's fun. That's why I like flying all the different Cubs in the sim. Like, the NX Cub, all the X Cubs are fun, the Huskies, the Savage Cub. Those planes are so fun to fly. Because like I said, they're simple. They don't have all the fun stuff. So the Hueys come from flights and turn. It turns out the dev team are working on pilots for the 192 Air Cavalry. Ooh! That's awesome. So yeah guys, here's the junction right over here. So it's right here, there's the junction. We're going to go ahead and turn right. So I'm going to turn it on exterior view just to show you guys what I'm talking about. So right here's the junction. And the junction here, we'll turn right here. Following down the bridge. Here's the junction, and we're going to turn right. Now it says here that once we turn the junction, we're going to follow mainly the East China Railway. And we follow the Aga Valley here. Now we should be flying much lower than this, so we need to get back to the 4,500 is the safe altitude, but I know we fly pretty low. Alright, I gotta get out there. You have a great flight. Hey, it's great seeing you, CIA Cowboys. CIA Cowboy, thank you so much for coming and stopping by. And I hope I see you again soon. So take care and have a great rest of the weekend. Whoa, I guess I'm following the wrong road. Whoops, I need to go west. Yeah, I'm playing some classic music for today. Just, like I said, this is old-fashioned. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about today's topic, if you guys don't mind. So my topic today is going to be talking about sports. This is going to be a pretty short one, but me with my background in sports information from my baseball series. I mean, there are VODs for it on my YouTube. Hey, late for delivery. Good to see you. Thank you for the follow yesterday. Good to see you. So I'm doing the 1926. My recreation of the 1926 Deutsche Lufthansa Berlin-Beijing flight. This is Leg 11. We're heading from Chita in Russia and we're crossing the border over to Manchuria, into the city known as Manzhouli. Good to have you here. So I'm talking about sports in Russia for today. So, now, sports have had a pretty long history in Russia, in the motherland, for quite a long time. So, in terms of most popular sports in Russia, the most popular is obviously association football. But to be fair, association football has always been the world's number one popular sport. But number 2 being ice hockey, and the rest of the top 10 include handball, basketball, futsal, boxing, auto racing, volleyball, athletics, tennis, and chess. But I'm going to talk about the 3 most important sports for Russia as well. And historically, the number 1 sport in Russia is football. No question. Football has been the number 1 sport for Russia for years. Now, football is extremely popular, and a high proportion of men play this sport regularly as well. Now, men's football are usually overseen by the Russian Football Union, and their main professional league is the Russian Premier League. Basically, the Russian Premier League is the equivalent of the English Premier League in terms of Russia. The Russian Premier League is one of the top European leagues. As well. Now, this league was introduced as a Premier League in 2001. There are 16 different teams playing here. And they're involved not only in the delegation of the Russian Cup, but they can even be involved in the UEFA League. Trust me, UEFA is has got some of the best teams in the world playing FIFA. Footballs and soccer? Hey, friends all? Yep. Yep, very much so. Yeah, I put football for the international people. Currently, the most recent champion has been Zenit St. Petersburg, and they won the title for their 7th time in history. But yeah, there's been 12 current teams in Grozny, Tula, Moscow, Samara, Nizhny Novgorod, Kazan, Sochi. There's also Spartak Moscow, F-Zero, Ternberg, and then the current champion, Zenit St. Petersburg. But yeah, a lot of Russians have actually played in the sport since the day. And in football, Russia goes all the way back to the Russian Empire in the 19th century. For much of the time in the Soviet Union, the USSR was a European power, one of the stronger countries in football in Europe. But Russia is still but the Russian national team is still very, very good. In fact, Russia hosted the 2018 FIFA World Cup, and their national football team has actually seen some very good success recently, with their best showing in 2018 as a part of the quarterfinals. And the Russians even finished 4th in the World Cup in 1966 as part of the Soviet. But they won the European Championship in 1960 for the USSR, and they even reached the semifinals in Euro 2008. But Russia has been quite decent, and currently they're ranked the 35th best team on the planet. Not bad. As well. But football, like I said, big time part of Russia. And football is pretty popular. Still very much so. And some of the best Russian players in the world even play internationally. The next sport I do want to talk about pretty much in a similar vein is ice hockey. Now, ice hockey didn't exactly come to Russia until 1932, but Russian hockey, though, is a powerhouse. Like, if you want to talk about one sport in Russia that is truly a power, it's hockey. Hockey, without question, is where Russia internationally has been the strongest. In fact, during the Soviet Union era, the USSR was an absolute superpower in hockey. Like, they were the most dominant, one of the most dominant national teams in history. During their times in the Soviet Union, they won lots of gold medals in the Ice Hockey World Championships, including gold in 50. They made 32 appearances in that, and they won lots of medals. In fact, the USSR currently, if you count all the gold medals, and the USSR has won lots of it. In fact, they won 22 gold medals, which is pretty insane, between a stretch of 1954 to 1990 when they dissolved. And they were even a dominant team in the Olympics, winning gold in 56, 64, 1968, 1972, 1976, 84, and 1988. The Soviet Union hockey was an absolute world dominating power. Can you get a Ukrainian team to beat their behind? Maybe. But I mean, Russia is still a power when it comes to hockey. Everyone should probably know how strong Russia's been. Yeah, oh yeah, Miracle on Ice. The U.S. versus the USSR in 1980 was one of the great upsets of it. But even though Russia was still a dominant hockey power. As a result, and even without the USSR in it, the Russian national team is still a hockey power, even without the USSR, as Russia's national team still won gold medals in 1993, 2008, 2009, 2012, and 2014. And they even took the gold medal in 2018 as the Olympic athletes from Russia. That was because of the Russian doping scandal. But Russian hockey is still a dominant power, and the Russian hockey team has been known as one of the Big Six, the unofficial group of the 6 strongest hockey nations on the planet, alongside Canada, the Czech Republic, Finland, Sweden, and the United States, as the Big Six hockey powers. So yeah, Russia's got so many iconic hockey players too. I mean, after all, Russia's got some of the great hockey players in history. And then the third sport, here's an interesting one you don't ever get to see. Bandy, actually. Now, I know a lot of you are wondering, what the heck is bandy? Well, bandy is actually, it looks to be very similar to hockey. And it's actually considered to be a national sport. In fact, one survey is the 3rd most popular sport in Russia. Now, most of the modern rules for the sport were written in England by a guy named Charles Goodman Tabot, but the Russians themselves claim to be the inventors of the game, and indeed, there were bailing games played in Russia before the modern rules. And when the Federation for the sport was founded in 1955 by the Soviet Union and 3 Nordic countries, a common set of rules were agreed upon, and the Soviet Union team, again, was an international power, as they won all the championships from 1957 to 1979. Now, for guys who don't know what bandy is, it looks similar to hockey with skates and pucks. However, compared to ice hockey, the playing surface here is actually larger than the ice hockey rink. In fact, it's the size of a soccer field, and by comparison. The goal cage is 3.5 meters by 11 meters wide. And that's why this sport is considered to be a combination of hockey and association football, or soccer. And this sport is still very popular to this day. And Russia is still a global power when it comes to sports. Now, bandy itself was first played in 1842, 140 years ago. It was developed in Britain, but Russia's got a very long history, and it's not just Russia that's popular. Other countries still have the sport, like Finland, Sweden, and especially Russia. Russia especially. Oh yeah, and if you guys didn't know, bandy is actually the only sport to have the support of the Russian Orthodox Church. So yeah, this is a major sport we gotta talk about. So definitely something pretty cool as well. Oh, crash while boom with the auto. Oh, friend of all, I'm so sorry. And finally, we gotta talk about the last slide. I want to talk about the Russia of the Olympics, because Russia has had a very long history with the Olympics itself. In fact, Russia is one of the most successful countries in the entire Olympic game. And especially coming from many different areas. So Russia itself is represented by the Russian Olympic Committee, which was established in 1911. But Russia has been around for longer in this time. In fact, Russia's been playing the Olympics since the original Olympics in 1900. Just 4 years after the original Olympic Games, itself. The Russian Olympic Committee was created in 1991 and recognized in 1993. Now, Russia has hosted the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, and the Soviets held the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow. That Olympic Games was most well known for the boycott it had. It was boycotted by the United States because of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. But Russia has been one of the great Olympic countries during the time. They cheat. The Russian doping scandal. But despite all that, though, Russia is still one of the most successful countries in the entire Olympic Games. Since their original first appearance, since 1994, they won 547 total Olympic medals in both the Summer and Olympic Games, and that puts them second only behind China and the United States, making Russia a great Olympic power. And there's a lot of reason, and mainly the main reason why Russia's got so many gold medals is because they were a dominant power in wrestling, gymnastics, athletics, and in the Winter Games, it's actually skiing and figure skating where Russia has really dominated a lot of the Olympic Games. So definitely Russia is a power, very much so. It's a very, very powerful country when it comes into this as well. Finally, we get to talk about some famous Russian athletes. Now, I picked 4 of them, but I had good reasons to pick these 4 Russian athletes in particular. I picked them for different sports, and I picked them based on their excellence in different sports. But like I said, there's so many other Russian athletes, but I picked 4 because this is going to be a short flight today, and I want to enjoy this flight. So let's talk about the first famous Russian athlete, a guy named Lev Yashin. Now, I know some of your newer soccer or association football fans saying, who the heck is Lev Yashin? Well, Lev Yashin was born on October 22nd, 1929 in Moscow, during the time of the Soviet Union. And he actually grew up in a family of industrial workers, and he even worked when he was 12 during World War II to support the war effort. After his time working in the factories, he played during a factory team, and he was invited to join the Dynamo Moscow youth team. And he, as a result, completely changed everything because Lev Yashin became an absolutely dominant goalkeeper. In fact, he is known by his nickname, the Black Spider. He was known for his athleticism, positioning, stature, bravery, his imposing presence at the goal, and his acrobatic saves. In fact, he may even be considered by many to be the greatest goalkeeper in the history of the sport. And trust me, that's not an easy thing to say. Consider just how important goalkeepers are. You have to be special. You have to be quite special to be such a great goalkeeper. Lev Yashin appeared in 4 World Cups from 1958 to 1970. And in 2002, he was chosen on the FIFA World Cup Dream Team, which is the all-time great team. An all-time team filled with the greatest players in the history of the FIFA. And that included guys like Pele, Romario, and Zinedine Zidane. And trust me, those are some of the greatest players of all time for FIFA. That's pretty insane to talk about all those players. Trust me, those are some of the greatest soccer legends of all time. In fact, he was even in the all-time world team as well, which, I mean, just speaks to the vibe of how good he really was. In fact, he was also chosen as the world team of the 20th century. In accordance to FIFA, Lev Yashin saved over 150 penalty kicks. That's more than any other goalkeeper. So his defense was so good that he could just prevent people from scoring. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And he was a big part of the Soviet Union during some of those World Cups, particularly in 1958. He was also a big part of helping them win gold medal for the Soviet Union football team. But in 1963, Lev Yashin did something that no other goalkeeper did in history. And he took an award called the Ballon d'Or, which is the best soccer player of the year by France Football. That makes him the only goalkeeper in history to do that. As well. And now he's become one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. Definitely something a lot of you newer people are not exactly used to, but it is a pretty big deal. Now for the next player. Now let's go to someone that's just the greatest version, in my opinion, for hockey. Yeah, you probably know this guy. It's Ovechkin. Alexander Ovechkin. Everyone should probably know about Ovi. But yeah, Alexander Ovechkin. One of the greatest goal scorers of all time. And he currently holds the record for the most power play goals in NHL history. He began his career with Dynamo Moscow in the Russian Super League, and he played there for 4 seasons from 2001 to 2005. And as a highly top prospect, he was selected by the Washington Capitals first overall in the 2004 draft. He led the NHL in scoring goals a record 9 times. Yes, that's more than Gretzky. I mean, he was an absolutely dominant goal scorer. The sport hasn't seen in a long time. He has also been a big part of Russia in multiple tournaments, helping Russia win the World Championships in 2008, 2012, and 2014 as well, being a very important part of Russia. Currently, Ovechkin has had 754 goals, which currently makes him 4th all-time in the goals, and led the Capitals to a major victory in the 2018 Stanley Cup. Ovechkin was known for his absolutely terrifying one-timer, which basically, for those in hockey who don't know, a one-timer is when an opponent passes it and you get the puck, you get the hockey stick and you slap the puck and immediately has to pass this to you. And that makes him extremely dangerous to deal with. And he was known for his exuberant on-goal celebrations, which he has a lot of personality, but Ovechkin is one of the greatest players in NHL history. And definitely the finest player from ice hockey player from Russia. The next person is actually a woman, but this girl is she was once one of the world's top tennis players from 2001 to 2020, and her name is Maria Sharapova. Born in Naigan, she was ranked #1 in the world for 21 weeks on 5 separate occasions, and she's one of only 10 women and the only Russian tennis player to hold a career Grand Slam. Which basically a Grand Slam is to win the 4 major tournaments, the U.S. Open. Basically, it's to win the 4 major hits. Let me go over them. She's one of the only ones to win a career Grand Slam. And basically what a Grand Slam is you have to win the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, in the U.S. Open, which are the four major tennis tournaments. And she was one of the only 10 women to actually win a career Grand Slam. And I mean, it's extremely impressive when you consider there have only been a few other women to actually do this. The only other ones include Steffi Graf and Serena Williams. And trust me, those are fantastic tennis players as well. She was also an Olympic medalist, helped getting a silver medal in the 2012 Olympics. What made Maria Sharapova pretty unique is the way she played the game. She was a very aggressive baseliner for tennis, with a powerful serve and strokes. And she hit her shots with relentless speed, power, and depth. And that's because the way she hit the tennis racket into the tennis ball can make it quite difficult to hit. But also she can make unenforced errors as well. But her greatest weapon though was the backhand. Her backhand was considered by me to be among the best in tennis. As well, she could do backhands like nothing. And also she was known for her mental toughness and her incredibly competitive spirit as well, making her one of the great tennis players of all time. And finally, the last athlete is something more for fighting, but I'm going to talk about Fedor Emelianenko. He is a heavyweight mixed martial artist known as an MMA. He also does a martial art called Sambo, which is actually a Russian martial art as well. And he also knows judo as well. He currently fights for the Bellator MMA, and he's won multiple championships in multiple sports, including the MMA Pride Fight Championships. And he was the undisputed heavyweight champion from 2003 to 2007. He won the Sambo World Championship in 2002, 2005, 2007, and the Russian Judo Championship as well. And for those who don't know about Sambo, Sambo is a Russian martial art, and it originated in the USSR, which translates to self-defense without weapons, and is developed since the 1920s. As well. Now, he's actually been, after a loss in December 2000, his MMA career, he was unbeaten for the next 28 fights until 2010, including wins over 4 different UFC champions, a Pride FC champion, and even 2 Olympic medalists. After taking a couple-year hiatus from martial arts, he is still returning back to active competition, and he is 3rd in the heavyweight ranking planet. He was well known for a striker, but he had excelled in all attributes, including his grappling. He can do leg locks, he can do punches, hit throws, and all that sort of stuff. He was very well known. If I had a nightclub, he would be my bouncer. Yeah, but he's one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time, one of the great mixed martial artists in history. Some people even consider him to be the greatest to ever do it. As well. Definitely not someone you want to mess with, that's for sure. And I think that completes the sports topic for today. Just something nice and quick for today. Just something quick and easy for today. And then we'll final crossing the board to China. I think next week will be the history of China. Talk about the introduction to the country and talk about some of its history. And then probably for the next one, I'll talk about Chinese food. And then the last part would be covering, probably talk about some Chinese culture and stuff. Maybe talk about all that sort of stuff. Because I want to talk a bit about China and its history too. So let's check. We have Count Zepp here. So we have Martel 738, and we have Printer All in the Cognac. Justin Trudeau was a bouncer, I guess, of the Nicer Clubs back in the day. Really? I didn't think about Justin Trudeau. Is that true? They was celebrity boxing boosting Justin Earl's early career. I don't think Justin Trudeau is a boxer. We're flying through the valley here. They currently fly low, and I'm not flying as low as they should. I probably should fly lower. Yeah, nice and easy flight for today. For the National Post, before the edict of we reliably conserve the BC connection about deep family roots. I'm Club Bouncer. Okay, that's new. I didn't know about that. We were flying quite low into the borders, and apparently the Mongolian shepherds were amazed at about our planes as we fly low over the territory. Hey, team and mate Nathan, good to see you, Nathan. We're flying really, really low into, we're flying into the steppe. We're flying our way into the border of China at a place called Manzhouli. This one's going to be the second shortest leg of the trip, so this will be done really, really quickly. So flying with me today is Count Zepp in the Junkers. In front of me is Friends of All in the Kodiak. And behind me is Martel 738. Also me, I thought Pierre Trudeau was also former Prime Minister. Yep. Yeah, he's actually the former Prime Minister, Pierre Trudeau. He served as the Prime Minister from 1968 to 1979 and then from 1980 to 1984. In fact, Justin Trudeau was the first Prime Minister candidate to be the child or another descendant of a former Prime Minister. Here is, yeah, he's the eldest son. It is strange but true. I guess the stage is short because they had to go through the customs. That's probably the main reason for it. That's why this leg was so short. They had to get through the customs first. That's probably from the notes. I think that is 100% probably the truth. Does not seem the velocity autopilot, so the throttles. No, the Kodiak actually doesn't. The pilot must maintain the throttles. Correct. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't have a velocity autopilot. You have to maintain the throttle. It's not like the airliner, which has the auto throttle. around only 78 nautical miles from our destination here in Manzhouli, so we're only 78 nautical miles. So we're, like I said, we're not far at all. So yeah, I'm very, very happy for today. This will be a nice, easy flight. Are there any GA planes that have auto throttle? I don't think so. I think there's only a handful of them. I mean, technically you could say, if you want a business jet, the business jet, the CJ4 has an auto throttle. Technically you could say the DC-3 for Molotov 1956. But in terms of GA planes, it's usually for business jet or airliners. I believe there's only one, I believe. I think it's the TBM. Yeah, the TBM 940 actually had... Yeah, it is the TBM. The TBM has auto throttle, making the TBM the first GA plane to have auto. Yeah, it is the TBM. Yeah, I just linked it up right now from the AOPA. It's the TBM 940. That thing has auto. Is the 940 nicer and faster compared to the TBM 930? Well, so the TBM... The TBM 940, I believe, is a little faster than the 930. I believe it is a little faster. It has several new features compared to the original 930. They include an auto throttle, increased automation for the de-icing system, and the interior's been redesigned. It's also a bit lighter thanks to a lighter turboprop as well. So they did read the interior, they did auto throttle. I believe it's similar performance. The Honda Jet Beta though is heavily, yeah. But it's not auto throttle as far as I know. Let me look that up. I believe it does because I think most business jets have an auto throttle. I believe the 2600 is. Oh, they don't have auto throttles. They don't have an auto throttle on the Honda Jet. Is the 940 payware? The one in Sim, the closest to it is the 930, and that's not payware. That comes with the base game. But yeah, the TV 930 is quite nice to fly. But the 930 is not payware. The 940, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's working on the TVM 940. But yeah, we're only 60 miles out. Yeah, this should be pretty quick. We're going to land on runway. We're actually going to land on runway. I believe we're gonna actually turn around and fly over to the city for a little bit. Fly for a quick second. So we're going to land on runway 30. Yeah, this has been a good flight so far. Everything's been going relatively peaceful. So, next week, I'm planning on doing a flight in New Zealand. Never really visited New Zealand before. I've flown there plenty of times in Sim. The question is, if I had a poll, would you guys like me to fly in the North or the South Island? Or maybe do a flight plan that visits both islands. It would be interesting. Maybe do a flight plan that would visit both islands. That would probably be the pick. North, all south, or a flight plan that would visit both islands. Let's see. Let's go back to the exterior view. For east, we have Martel Silvio. French Alls in front, and then Count Zeps to my northwest. Yeah, this has been great so far. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me today. I know there's been quite a few things going on as well, so I appreciate you all being here and joining me in this great flight. Let me go ahead and talk about the last slideshow. So our final destination today is going to be on Manzhouli. Now, Manzhouli is located on the border between China and Russia at the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region in China. It's a major land port of entry because, well, it's the port of China and Russia. It has an area of 696.3 square kilometers and a population of nearly 250,000 people. Now, this area has been inhabited since ancient times by many different inhabitants like Beijing, Khitan, the Mongols, and the Manchu. During the decline of China's last dynasty, the Russians forced Beijing to cede the outer Manchurian territory in the 1958 Treaty of Anhui. In 1901, the China Far East Railway was built around here, and a lot of it was built on the border of the territory. And it formed the modern city of Manzhouli. And it came from the Russian word Manzhouli. In 1905, it was designated a trade center, which boosted the growth of the city. And in 1927, it was designated a city. But only just a couple years later, it was ruled by the Japanese and the Empire of Manchuria. In 1992, it became one of the first landborne cities that opened up by the People's Republic of China, and has since experienced a boom of trade as a center between China and Russia. Now, the big tourism thing in this place is the border crossing with Russia. And it's since been rated as a 5-day tourist attraction in China. There's also a ice and snow festival that takes place every winter between February and early March. Now, the main airport we're flying here today is Manzhouli International Exao Airport. And people and passengers who fly to Beijing is Mongolia capital city, the airport, alongside with Chita and Ulaanbaatar as well. And of course, you can forget the Trans-Manchurian Bridge, the Trans-Siberian Railway, too. Flies too much to the railway station. There's definitely a pretty little interesting little trading post, but this was especially important for the area, and that completes today's flight, and that is all the slideshow stuff today. But yeah, this was a good flight so far. Thank you so much, everyone. We're now 49 nautical miles away from the border, and we just surprised a lot of the Mongolian shepherds down below us with their sheep. They're thinking to themselves, "What the heck is this plane doing here? What have you been doing? What is this? What is this machine that's flying in the air over Mongolia?" I mean, this has been crazy to even think about. It's pretty crazy, but here's the overhead window where I'll open it up. You can see the sun shines down from here. Window. And we have Count Zep for the all. And oh, look at it, guys. It's Dinky Decimus. Great to have you here, Dinky. Dinky Decimus is rated with a party of 33 people. Hey, great to have you here, Dinky. I bet you had an amazing flight in China. From what I heard, you've been taking off from the highest altitude airport, around 14,000 feet. I mean, not many planes can take off from this area, but thankfully you guys had the right. Thankfully you had the right plane for the job, being the Kodiak. I don't think that would have any issues taking off. It's great to have you here, Diggy Decimus. Golden 77's here. Great to have you guys here. 14,472 feet. Yep. We were buzzing through the Mongolian shepherds. We're entering our way to Manzhouli. Let me give up the little nav map. We took off from Chita. We went through the Aragon River Valley. And we reached all the way to this junction right here. This is the junction that takes us to the East Chinese Railway. And we're following it down all the way to our stop here on Manzhouli. Right here would be our stop for today. We're around 44 nautical miles from our destination. Earlier today, we talked about sports in Russia, and we talked about some famous athletes like Lev Yashin, Alexander Ovechkin, Maria Sharapova, and Fedor Emelianenko. We talked about all that today, and it's shown at the top right. UDAA is actually the closest airport, and I'm on the East USA, as friends all pointed out. In the Mighty Youngers, flying with me today, friends all, Count Zepp, or Knight Zepp, and there's Martel flying with me today. I appreciate him coming for the journey as well. And as Martel was saying earlier, we're buzzing through the Mongolian shepherds. If you're not expecting to see this machine, this glorious Junkers, flying through the air like crazy. Good to have you here, Blind Lemon Eyes 70 has just followed the channel. Good to see you, Blind Lemon Eyes. Thank you for coming to the channel. Now, for guys who've been here for the first time, this is my historical recreation of the 1926 Berlin to Beijing flight. Now, this flight was done back in 1926 by Dr. Robert Knopf, and in the original flight, he took the Junkers B-24 out for the flight. He took that for the trip, and we're recreated in the Junkers J-52. It was flown by Deutsche Lufthansa, the main airliner at the time, out of Berlin Tempelhof. And this is the full detail in that job. I'm Blogs not PK. Knight Zepp was going to be gaining all the information, and the plane here by Junkers, D903 was the plane here in the bottom right. And I'm recreating the trip that D903 was having in this story. They did this route so they could get to Beijing faster without having to go through Africa and the Middle East. And because Germany and the USSR had somewhat good relations, the USSR let them travel through the interior of the country. And our route took us from Berlin, Königsberg, Smolensk, Moscow, Kazan, Kurgan, Omsk, Novosibirsk, Krasnoyarsk, Irkutsk, and Chita. Then we're heading into Manzhouli. Then the next week we're going to head into the place known as Harbin, then Shenyang, and then Beijing. So that is our route historically. Thank you, Desmond. Is up to cook dinner. Take care of the dogs. Take good care of them, all right? And thanks for the raid so much, guys. If you guys haven't known him, Dinky Decimus is an amazing, amazing content creator. Dinky Decimus, he may be mute, but Dinky Decimus is such an amazing content creator. He makes some amazing flights. And he knows how to make a great flight. Also, he's a master of the DC-6 too, and also 2 cats. He's a true master of that DC-6. So guys, please check out Dinky Decimus. He's amazing. It's good to have you guys here. So we're heading to our final stop at Manzhouli. Now this area was a land port because this is right on the border between Russia and China. it'd be pretty nice to give them a visit. Thankfully, this fight's pretty short. Hey, Kahari, good to see you. Kahari had an amazing flight on Saturday. She was flying through Alaska. And actually the freeware Hawker Hurricane had a really interesting flight. Yeah, let me show you one of the other best features. This sunroof. Open this thing up. Here's the sunroof. And I mean, you can actually see the sun, but guys, don't stare at it too long. No one likes to be blinded by the sun. So, look at the sun at your own caution. So we're only 31 miles away. I mean, to be fair, a lot of this area was flat. But I mean, this is where Mongolia used to be, and for guys who don't know anything about Mongolia, Mongolia was once the stomping ground of one of the most feared and hated generals. His name was Genghis Khan. And for guys who don't remember the Mongol Empire, it was the largest contiguous land empire in history. I mean, it goes as far east as the Russian Far East, far south as the bottom end of China. And it goes as far west as Ukraine. It's actually insane how massive that empire was. And here's the thing, it only lasted for less than 100 years, but it was the largest contiguous land empire in history. The only empire historically larger than the Mongols was the British Empire. And that was only because the British, they did colonizing around the sea and all that. Which is pretty impressive to think about the Mongols. It was enormous. And by the way, Genghis Khan was one of the most infamous generals in history, too. So definitely something to keep in mind. You mean that window isn't for unruly passengers? No, the window is not for unruly passengers. Though, here's what we do with the unruly passengers, you may ask. Let me show you where the unruly passengers go. They go out this door right here. Like the paratroopers did back in World War II, this is where they go. They go right here. So unruly, you drop them off here. Notice for drunk pirates so quickly. Very, very, very funny, except. But yeah, we're gonna finally enter into China. We're only 25 miles away from the destination. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me with the raid. I appreciate you all so much. Thanks for coming here today. It means a lot that you guys are here with me. So I'm planning on Wednesday to do a flight around New Zealand. The question is, should I do a flight around the South Island only, the North Island only, or do a flight plan that connects both islands? Here's the thing, I'm getting the Twitch emote stuff I'm doing my affiliate onboarding layer today. Look at this right here. Look at this car right here. Oh my goodness. Great, I'm ending up being like Murph. Forty percent is more than enough fuel for today. 40% fuel is still plenty. For about 23 miles. I don't have to think for sound bites yet. Actually, you know, guys, I'm actually thinking about something. I think we're gonna rate someone new today. I get something to drink. We have an ejection sunroof and rear door right here. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking about just flying straight in. Yeah, I'm going to fly straight into the airport at Jiaozhou Airport. Now, this airport here was, we only have one way, 1230 runway. It's about 9,186 feet. And it serves many different airlines, but particularly Jeonju Airlines to Harbin, Ohat, Roxon, and then Beijing. Yeah, this speed great ending. Oh, we see Kaharia with us today. I see Kaharia on Furrowhead. Hey, Kaharia. Thanks for coming with me today. We have Kaharia, friends, all Cartel, in concept, all here today. Thank you guys so much. I know it's not much to look at here, guys, today. I know it's just flat and barren, but I mean, that's what a lot of Mongolia is. It's flat and barren. And due to that flat and barrenness of Mongolia, and And that's why sheep shepherds and all that were very common in the area back in the day, because there's not much trees, so they had to graze and all that sort of thing. Yep, the border crossing's up soon. Yep. Yeah, we should be getting the border crossing to China. Here's everyone else here. Martel, Aria, Count Zep, turn to all. Look at all you guys flying here today. Yep, it's clear visible. So here it is, there's Manzhouli. Get back to the cockpit. Right here is our city over here, Manzhouli. There it is right there. We're going to go ahead and head to the airport and get ready to land. I know the satellite data in this area isn't the greatest, obviously. Do keep that in mind. Hey, Big Michael has just followed. Big Michael, thank you for following the channel. I hope you're having a great time. Thanks so much. I hope your day's going well. So we're in our final destination of Manzhouli, major land port in China, as a border city between China and Russia. And we finally meet, and this is a big step because this is leg 11 of the trip, and we're finally crossing into China today. So yeah, we're recreating the Berlin-Beijing flight. So there's the airport down over here. We're going to go ahead and lower our power. We're going to put stage flaps. Actually, 2 stage of flaps. Be good enough. And there's our airport. We're going to land straight in at runway 12. Okay. Well, we're gonna turn it in really low, like sense. We're not gonna make the engine idle, but we are gonna slow down the plane. Here's our runway here today, guys. This is going to be pretty. Okay, we're getting ready to land. Yeah, she likes to go somersault face down. So, like I said, she's a heavy bird. So, carefully. Thankfully, this is a 9,000 plus foot runway. We can take this plane a little slower. This should be pretty good. Let's see if you guys. Let's see what landing rate I land. Probably land somewhere else. That was a good landing. That was pretty good. Nice. And let's get this stop. Hey, Blind Money Eyes Eye. Hi, good to see you, man. Yep, and we made our landing here into China today. Let's see if anyone else is still in the air. Here's Kaharia. She's going to be landing here. Good to see you. This was a nice landing. Negative 114. Professor Willen plays. You're lurking in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you, Professor Willen. Hope you're doing well. Let's see if Kaharia can get this plane down. And let's see if Kaharia's gotten it. But yeah, the Yonkers is such a fantastic plane. I love flying it. It's a joy. And Kaharia's down. Awesome. Guys, that's it. We crossed into the border of China. Let me go ahead and take a picture and let everyone know that we now made it to past leg 11's complete. We crossed in the border to China. This is amazing, everyone. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Dakey, for the raid. Dakey's amazing as always. Let me go ahead and get a picture of everyone. So we crossed the border into China. This is pretty amazing, guys. I'm gonna wait till Kaharia's here and we can take the picture. But seriously, everyone, thank you guys so much for today. Today was a great flight. It was a bit of a shorter stream than usual. This was a bit of a short stream, but our flight didn't take very long today. This was the second shortest leg of the entire trip, outside the one that we did from Moscow to Smolensk to Moscow. So what a fantastic way to end today. Yeah, the General is a tricycle gear plane pulling a wheeler. Yeah, that was a good one today. We got to fly over the Yingern River, and now we made our way into China. So I got the pic. Let me go ahead and post this back in my Discord. And speaking of my Discord, if you guys like this content, I do have a Discord. So don't be afraid to check out the Discord and pay it a visit. So guys, thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone for coming here today on this stream. Wednesday, we'll be flying to New Zealand. I'm probably going to do a flight plan that would do both islands. We get to visit both of the islands. And then next Sunday, I mean, we fly leg number 12. We only have 3 more legs after leg 12 to go. And we'll be flying from here to Harbin, the main city in Manchuria. So guys, we're going to raid someone new today, actually. We're actually going to raid Iceman 333 today. Now, for those who don't know, Iceman 33 is actually one of the members of Rotor Sim Pilot. And that's the same group as Flights with Joel. So if anyone knows about Flights with Joel, he often takes in a lot of flights with Flights with Joel. And he does a lot of helicopter stuff. So if you like Flights with Joel, I think you guys are going to like him too. So thank you guys so much for coming here today. Let me make sure everyone stays and gets part of the raid here today. Please stay. I think it would be fantastic if you guys join his channel. Thank you guys so much, and take care, everyone. Viperstrike 95, out.